What was the fun of being involved?
I just think it's an amazing thing. You can shape what people have access to, and it's so important right now. I think for so long in publishing, people thought that, white men were the only people putting out worthy material, and that's not the case. So I really, books have always had a special place in my heart, just the ability to escape through them in any given time. So I just like being part of that process. I think it's a really special one.
Well, let me jump ahead. This is a question I feel it's only fair to ask every publishing professional I ever talk to, so I try to be real consistent and make sure I ask everybody. We had Lamar Giles, and I never get tired of bragging that Lamar came on a few episodes back. Check the back catalog, esteemed audience. Well worth your time to listen to. He, of course, was one of the founding members of We Need Diverse Books, which exists because we need diverse books. And we are getting, I like to think publishing is getting a little bit better, but still a long way to go. So what are you seeing being done to increase diversity offerings in literature? What are you doing? What is the Knight agency doing?
So that's a really good question. I think, you're seeing more diverse books being published and just people not being roadblocks. I mean, that's step one, right? And then I think step two is realizing that publishing in itself is, and by that I mean the people who work in publishing, are not that diverse, and that really hinders how you can acquire these books. So I think what you're seeing is figuring out a way to really support people of color working in publishing, and that starts at the ground level. And what I've seen, we talked a little bit, New York is so expensive, and a lot of times getting into publishing, there's this expectation that you'll have these internships that you're essentially working for free, but living in New York at a high cost. And so I'm seeing more paid internships, which I think are helpful. And I've heard more discussions about remote internships, which I think are also really, really helpful. And then in terms of me, I just really believe in these stories, really seeking out these authors. There's so many great ways to get in contact with these authors. DV Pet is coming up, which I'm always really excited to participate in. And I think also just putting out a message that these books are so important and that publishing is hungry for them. That's something that I noticed when I go to conferences. When you're in publishing, you're in this bubble and you think everyone knows what you know. I'm seeing on Twitter these calls for diverse books, that publishers are more open to it, but that doesn't always spread throughout, beyond our bubble. And so talking at conferences, I still get questions, my main character is Black. Is that something that publishers even want? And you're like, oh my gosh, yes, of course. And you realize there's just so much damage done that you have to undo to make sure these writers know that they are supported and that their works matter.
Yeah, no, it's an awkward position, not you personally, but that publishing finds itself in. Like, hey, we're trying not to be racist anymore. Just ignore most of our history.
Yeah, just forget that. We're on a new page, but I mean, truthfully, yeah, I mean, I think there's a long way still to go, as you said.
In fairness to publishing, they are hardly the only American institution of which that is true. So just
absolutely. Right. Media, I think just in general, and, movies, you're seeing a change too, which has been great. But yeah, lots of industries are guilty for sure.